Hello everyone and welcome to Bathroom Brews, the budget deck tech series proving magic isn't pay to win. Each deck in the series will have a budget of $50, excluding the cost of the commander, and in this week's video, I'm going to show off the power of Mono Blue, but not with Urza, Lord High Artificer, or Orvar the Allform, but with a pair of budget commanders that soar through the air, beating face, and drawing more cards than you'll know what to do with. But first, if you can please give this video a like, it really helps out the channel. The partner pair of Siani Eye of the Storm and Elgeth Crossroad Augurs is one of the most popular mono blue commanders with over 1,000 decks on EDH Rec, and for good reason. People, myself included, love to draw cards, and on a budget, these commanders are some of the best in the business. My original inspiration for this deck came from building a 99-cent paper deck, which you can check out after watching this one. But I thought, what if I took the shell of that deck and increased the budget? Well, I could have made a $10 version of the deck, but I thought $20 would give me more wiggle room for removal, counter magic, and win conditions. This is a mono blue deck without Laboratory Maniac or Thorkel, so I had to include unique ways to win. So without further ado, let's get into it. A key element to this flying duo is flying creatures. Thankfully, Blue has access to a wide variety of flying birds, sphinxes, spirits, pirates, and yes, squids. A few of the best are Fairy Seer, Augury Owl, and Djinn Windseer. With your commander out, most of these creatures become a better Mull Drifter. A theme I wanted to lean into was Sphinx Tribal. There are numerous Sphinxes in Magic that synergize with both the commanders and are inexpensive. From the alt win conditions of Atemis All the All-Seeing to potential draw through every turn thanks to Prognostic Sphinx. You'll have ramp with Defiler of Dreams and Unesh. And finally, Sphinx of Foresight and Serum Sovereign, with the former being coming up for Phyrexian Arena, and the latter becoming a pseudo-ancestral recall with Elgeth out. In the last few years, Wizards have released cards that trigger when you draw your second card each turn, from the new Zimone and Dina from March of the Machines, to Joriel from the original Dominaria. Sadly, I couldn't quite fit Alondra Skydreamer from Jumpstart 2022 due to budget, but I'm running the next best three in Fairy Vandal, Min Wily Illusionist, and Ethereal Investigator. Similarly to the cards I just mentioned, I had to include cards that give you benefits whenever you draw cards. There's the great Wonderphage, I don't know how to pronounce that, let me know in the comments, who will trigger Siani since it has flying. Then you have Chasm Skulker and Ominous Seas that'll give us extra bodies to help close out games. I wanted to include Toothy Imaginary Friend, but it's too expensive on this tight of a budget. If you have one or want to pick it up, I'd highly recommend it. Now, sadly, some of our creatures are stuck on the ground, which won't benefit from Siani when you attack. So I'm going to give some of these landlubbers wings and send them flying. Think of Icarus without the whole falling from the sky part, or the old commercials about a certain drink giving you wings. In this case, Wonder will actually give you wings. Well, we'll give your creatures wings, technically, letting us take all of our Squid, Kraken, and Illusion tokens that we generate and send them soaring into your opponent's faces. Kitetail Skirmisher will pick up an attacking creature and take it on a little trip through the sky. You'll want to stack the triggers so Kitetail gives your creature flying before Siani's ability resolves, so you do get one extra scry. And finally, Ghostlit Drifter is a great mana sink for the late game thanks to its ability to be channeled, or just its own ability once it's on board. I didn't want the only way to scry to be from creatures entering the battlefield or attacking. After all, being in blue gives you access to Preordain and Serum Visions, which become budget ancestral recalls with Elgeth out, but far and away the best sorcery is Ugin's Insight. This was one of my favorite cards when I played Yannette Cryptic Sovereign, and it's one of my favorite cards in this deck. More often than not, you'll be able to draw 9 cards from a singular cast, letting you refill your hand or find the answer you need so desperately. And to round out the deck, I included a few ways to get repeatable scries throughout the game. Seer's Lantern is both a scrying and a mana rock, while Crystal Ball should draw you a ton of cards throughout the course of a game. My favorite of the bunch is Nethereye's Puzzle Ward. This weird enchantment from Adventures in the Forgotten Realm has the ability to draw you 5 cards in a single turn. This, in conjunction with Sphinx of the Second Sun, will give you more cards than you know what to do with. And finally, one of the things I wanted to avoid when building this deck was using the stereotypical blue win conditions such as Thoracle, Laboratory Maniac, or Jace Wielder of Mysteries. Everyone has seen these cards win games, and after the first or second time, it gets stale. You could argue the same could be said for Psychosis Crawler, which is in my list. However, you need ways to win aside from turning creatures sideways. Crawler tends to be the primary win condition, or a way to soften people up for you to finish with an army of flying creatures. There's also the mill option with Sphinx's Tutelage, which is not only great flavor, but what I consider the second win condition. But I wanted to include some unique win conditions in my list, for either flavor, or because I'm not sure where else I'd want to include these. I already mentioned Atemis All-Seeing, but I included Triskaidekaphile. Winning with this card can be tricky since the creature does need to stay around for a full turn cycle. But if you can cast some instant speed card draw right before your turn, you can snag the win seemingly out of nowhere. Be careful of your timing. If you don't have 13 cards at the beginning of your upkeep, the ability won't trigger, so you have to draw those cards before your turn. And with that, thanks for watching. You can find a link to the deck in the video description below, along with the accompanying article. Special thanks to my patrons shown on screen here. If you'd like to join them in supporting the channel, check out my Patreon linked below. To keep supporting the channel for free, just give this video a like and leave a comment. This has been Ben, with BathroomBrews MTG, and remember, always wash your hands.